So Andrew Cuomo recently resigned. Well, sort of, not technically, because he gave himself like 14 days
Right.
to finish up with whatever, COVID job he was doing. But I thought it'd be interesting to bring him in and watch some of his resignation video, talk about it. Because I think this whole thing is, well, it's odd.
It is.
He's a Democrat.
Yeah.
And a very powerful governor, a 3-term governor for
He's the
state of
golden
New York.
standard.
And the golden
Don't forget.
That's right. When Biden was just starting to run, they were thinking, "Oh, Cuomo should be VP."
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh my gosh, he just murdered how many old people?"
Well, I shouldn't say funny because it's not funny, but
no,
it's odd that he's resigning because of a sexual harassment scandal, not for killing a whole bunch of old people in nursing homes because of his COVID policy.
They don't even talk about the COVID deaths. And I feel, yes, it is horrible that he is messing around with the gals, but even the gals should, if they could see right that the deaths is far more worse than his sexual harassment BS that he's doing. That's not good, but he didn't kill those girls.
That's right.
And
there's no allegation of rape.
Right.
It's fondling so far.
Right.
I've got a list here. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I'm going to look at this like, what the hell's wrong with that?
It might be some of that in this conversation.
I heard it. I want to hear that because I heard some, and I'm trying to go with the facts. I really dislike this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But example, if there's like number 1 through 11 on each girl, woman had an issue. So let's just say, number 3 of the 11, discussed what she didn't like. And I heard a couple of them that sounded truly like, listen, stop. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You need to get over it. It's not sexual harassment. I shouldn't say get over it. I mean, yes, you should get over it because it's not what's classified as sexual harassment. But I still think she's one of the people. So even though I hate the guy, I'm realistic to say that isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't be one of them. But I think that even him, Cuomo here, and his people are like, take it. We could talk about the deaths. Okay, I'll talk about women and men and how men suck and women are great. I really do think it's kind of they're trying to brush over that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a way of getting him out of there and we could move on.
Mm-hmm.
This is because there's something deeper here that nobody wants to talk about.
Well,
but anyways, tell me what you have. I really want to see.
I'll set up the video. Producer E is probably sleeping right now. He worked all day, as did I, so I don't know what's going on here.
I was at work today.
Yeah, see? You were at work.
I actually worked today.
I had a long day. I had like a whole day of doing my day job, and then I coached for 1, 2, 3 hours.
And then you had to come here and put out.
And then
put out. You had to come here and put up with me.
Yeah. That's
you don't have to put out.
You
could. It is my birthday.
It is your birthday. Okay, so I'll play this video. Yeah. This is Andrew Cuomo, basically just kind of saying that the claims are false and without evidence, without merit. Yeah, there you go. So I'll hit play. Hopefully this goes well because producer E, I could use his help here.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
The Attorney General did a report on complaints made against me by certain women for my conduct. The report said I sexually harassed 11 women. That was the headline people heard and saw and reacted to. The reaction was outrage. It should have been.
Yeah.
However, it was also false. My lawyers, as you just heard from Rita Glavin, have reviewed the report over the past several days and have already raised serious issues and flaws that should concern all New Yorkers. Because when there is a bias or a lack of fairness in the justice system, it is a concern for everyone.
Your own people want you gone, buddy.
Not just those immediately affected. The most serious allegations made against me had no credible factual basis in the report. And there is a difference between alleged improper conduct and concluding sexual harassment.
Yeah, but that's what they've gone through and concluded there's sexual harassment.
So I didn't include before this video that he posted. His attorney basically went through and tried to downplay all of the harassment and list of complaints about him. And of course, he starts off his resignation speech that's all baseless.
Well, yeah, because I've heard some other parts of this, and he apologizes, but he just claimed that, yes, I've heard all these things, and they should have said it, but it was all false.
Mm-hmm.
All false.
Well, so I've got a list here of those complaints, and I thought maybe we should just kind of read through them.
I'm going to guess there's going to be 2 or 3 that I could actually, unfortunately, agree with this guy could be false. And I'd like to see if that's, I'm curious.
So what has the governor been accused of? Okay, first one. Lindsay Boylan. Just kidding.
It's like, she was like, I ain't going to complain. I wanted it to happen.
So former deputy secretary for the economic development and special advisor to the governor. It's a very high position. Sexual harassment, including unwanted physical contact.
Which is?
Well,
see, that statement needs to be breaking down.
Mm-hmm. Well,
because
I think
I don't want to fist bump a dude I work with.
Mm-hmm. Well, she says that so she had some meetings with him, and at one point he took her by surprise and gave her an unwanted kiss on the mouth.
That's not okay.
Yeah, and this was a one-on-one meeting. That's not something you should be doing.
Nope. Yeah. It's
because now it's his word against hers, and he's obviously going to be in the wrong or the bad place.
So how smart is Mike Pence when people made fun of him?
He always had someone with him.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Out of respect for his wife. But guess what? Is he going to ever get in this situation? No.
So that's one of the things about coaching is that I work with athletes in the wide open public. I don't work with athletes in like enclosed areas where there's no foot traffic or no one around. Yeah. I always have some sort of visual so that people can see that things are kosher. And as a governor, he's in a much different spot than I am as some lonely little coach.
Yeah.
He's the head of a major state, and he should already know. In fact, there's such a progressive state. I'm sure that they have the same rules or laws in his state as we do in ours, which is as a public employee, you have to go through all of this different training. Doesn't matter if you're the governor. You still have to participate because you're a government employee in sexual harassment training and equity and all this other stuff that they're piling on. And he should have known.
Well, I agree. But, there's so many people that, put their hand up and swear an oath to our Constitution, and they just crap all over it too. So anybody could go through all that stuff. Of course they know. You know what? And you know what? And you don't even need those things. They at work, I have those things too. Mm-hmm. And it sucks that, because you don't need those things. That's not going to stop the guy that's going to sexually harass somebody. We still...
No, it's true.
I just... A good person doesn't need to be told not to touch somebody that doesn't want to be touched.
Yeah, all it is
or how to be professional in a situation.
The trainings are not to train people how to not sexually harass. All it is just a liability thing.
Warning.
It's a way for the lawyers to say, no,
he was told.
Yeah, he went through training. Here's the certification. So it takes the burden off of the institution and places it on the individual.
Directly onto the person.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Well,
so the next one here, Charlotte Benet. Is that how you pronounce that name?
Yeah.
Former executive assistant and health policy advisor to Governor Cuomo. Sexual harassment. That's the allegation. And, as you go through this list, you're going to see a lot of the same thing. But Sometimes there's a little bit of additional story behind it, but a lot of this stuff, this in this case, this person claims that Cuomo asked about her sex life, including whether she'd ever had sex with an older man.
I remember this gal.
And that's
inappropriate.
It's inappropriate. Is that sexual harassment? Maybe according to their training.
Well, I will say this: it could be sexual harassment. So if I understand things right, whether you do agree with me or not, I'm not the one that puts these programs together. Example: if I was working with you, this is kosher these days, and I wanted to ask you out, and I could ask you out, and if you say no, I have to stop. So there's almost like a one time, but that doesn't mean you could touch them. I mean, but you could at least get personal. But if they say, by asking, hey, would you be interested in going out? And if they say no, you better stop. But when you are somebody's boss, I mean, that's just a peer, okay? That's just a one-on-one, same level, if you will.
Okay, so I'm going to set up this next clip, and this is him making his apologies. But what's interesting is he kind of then starts to describe his behaviors and then how he defends those behaviors.
Now, don't get me wrong. This is not to say that there are not 11 women who I truly offended. There are. And for that, I deeply, deeply apologize. I thought a hug and putting my arm around a staff person while taking a picture was friendly, but she found it to be too forward. I kissed a woman on the cheek at a wedding, and I thought I was being nice, but she felt that it was too aggressive. I have slipped and called people honey, sweetheart, and darling. I meant it to be endearing, but women found it dated and offensive. I said on national TV to a doctor wearing PPE and giving me a COVID nasal swab, you make that gown look good. I was joking. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have said it on national TV.
I know, but
she found it disrespectful.
It is disrespectful.
Yeah.
I take
know your position.
Full responsibility for my actions. I have been
You don't.
too familiar with people. My sense of humor can be insensitive and off-putting. I do hug and kiss people casually, women and men. I have done it all my life. It's who I've been
No, I wouldn't have said
since
that.
I can remember.
He's trying to justify
In my
it.
mind,
I get it.
I've never crossed the line with anyone. But
In his mind.
I didn't realize the extent to which the line has been redrawn.
All right. That's an interesting thing because time is different, obviously, today than it was 10 years ago or 20 or, 60, 70 years ago. Our culture is different, and the lines definitely are drawn differently. Doesn't change the fact that he is in a powerful position and he has seen these things, especially, I mean, he knows. It bothers me that a person in his leadership position who's been doing this as long as he has not kept up on what is appropriate behavior.
Right. Remember, I'm just a loser. I'm just a conservative white dude. And I know I'm an uneducated dude, and I know what he's doing is inappropriate. He should be gone for this, but because of his other issues with the nursing home and the deaths in the nursing homes, I think that should be frontline. And I feel that the reason why is because if they convict him or bust him on the deaths of what he did in the nursing homes, they could do that with so many other Democrat people that did the same thing he did. So why not get all those other? There's some big names that did the same thing he did.
Yeah. So the next clip is he's trying to describe what's going on with one of the issues in particular, And what bothers me about it is that he should be already realizing the inappropriateness of the relationship that he started. He's describing in, like, he has a police force, security that protects him. He moves around the state, people go with him. And there's a particular officer who travels, female officer.
Yeah.
And she and him have, conversations, and he thinks he's being funny, and there's banter back and forth. And he starts to make some inappropriate conversations. And maybe he just thinks that the relationship is more personal than professional. And obviously it's professional. And this officer is going to be getting married, and he makes a comment about, how that is not a good idea. And, of course he's single and an old dude who potentially wants to do some
He
stuff.
didn't pierce his nipples for nothing. He's trying to get the right gal.
And so he goes on, he tells the story, and then he goes on and he says, and this officer has made a claim that he touched her stomach or touched her inappropriately. And so he goes on to describe that this is a normal thing for him when he's walking through his security detail.
At public events, troopers will often hold doors open or guard the doorways. When I walk past them, I often will give them a grip of the arm, a pat on the face, a touch on the stomach, a slap on the back. It's my way of saying, I see you.
Oh.
I appreciate you.
Check this
and
out.
I thank you.
Hey, Scott.
I'm not comfortable just walking past and ignoring them.
Wow. So
he throws in touch of the stomach. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notifications if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're just listening to the podcast, again, please share it with others that might be interested in listening. Until we see you next time, take care.
And be safe.